Hello! Welcome to Drakenmemoria! I don't know who's there right now because we've had a really rough evening. I had no power for the entire first half of the session, so it's going to be a half session. Maybe if we're lucky, 2/3 session, but half session. And, well, like I said, I don't know who's there, but you'll be able to watch a rebroadcast of this. As you can see, we only have 2 players right now because I think one of them fell asleep when he realized we weren't going to have any streams, and the other one, well, it was already going to be hard because he's in a place where there isn't a very good reception, but now it's even worse, and not sure exactly how long it's going to take for him to get out of there. So, apparently, we have a 2-player stream tonight. A half stream with only half the group. I don't know, it matched. There's some sort of poetic element about it. But it just so happens that it is...
Hello.
Hello?
He's in the same boat as me. I was almost asleep.
Hey!
Well, I was getting prepared for sleep.
Hello! It's so funny because I looked at the exact time when you put up the message that we weren't gonna have a stream, because I sent the message to audience telling that they just changed the message on the app they were using to keep everyone informed. It said that it wasn't gonna be coming back for another hour, so I sent him the message. I just looked outside and damn, I hate it when this happened. I put the phone down and all the lights came back on. So intriguing stream. Well, since audience seems to be the...
Hey, you got in the chat though.
Hey! Yeah, that's it. That's a start. Alright, we'll just start with the rest of the group. Alright. So, for those wondering what all this mess is, it's going to be Dungeons & Dragons. If you don't want to watch, I don't blame you. Tonight is a weird night, but we're still going to do it. Half a session, maybe 2/3, but we're here and we're going to try and do this. If you actually want to watch this, thank you for being here. I know that the message was sent that we weren't going to have a stream, but just like every good story, the moment you give up, it's when everything happens exactly how you wanted it. Oh, great. That's always fun. Alright, so, let's get this episode started. Oh yeah, we still have to do publicity thing. If you like the thunderstorm in the background, well, it's roughly what we had a few hours ago here. I was told that it was a micro tornado.
Damn.
Literally, someone caught it on camera in the next city. So maybe I want to say between 8 or 10 miles from where we are. Tornado came down, ripped the pole off, and electricity went down. So, if you like the thunderstorm in the background, you can either come live near where I live for the next hour or so. Or you can go to Ambient Mixer and make your own ambiance of a hellish thunderstorm. For battle map, it's Wonder Draft. For battle map, it's why won't it come out? I don't know. It's just look below the window.
Application.
Everything is there. Wonder Draft for world maps. Dungeon Alchemist for battle map. That's it. All right. Publicity done, and now we can start. And yes, we can see in chat audience. probably we'll wait if he can actually start the conference call from where he is. Otherwise, let's get this started. So, for those of you who wants to catch up on what happened last episode, the party consolidated all they had found and prepared during the last. I want to get this started so fast that I'm skipping lines. So, they consolidated all they had found and prepared during the last day. The knowledge they gathered in the library, their resource for the plan to send souls inside of a gem containing a world, and the magical device they needed to confirm the Queen's royal status. With the knowledge from the library, they found a place to send refugees from the gem they prepared. They infused souls inside a pocket world, and with the magical object, they very awkwardly, a very awkward conversation occurred. With all of this done, only one challenge remained, bringing back the feather hidden within a dream. Yes, I'd prepare, and I really just read what I wrote. So, with this, I believe audience had decided to go outside and find who he believe is the feather and a dragon and have a good conversation with them. And it just so happens that Tobiyashi and Remy find themselves in the same room, and while Tobiyashi and Remy were going back to the room, they crossed paths with Audience and Fisher. Well, since Audience is not here, Audience decided to do the Audience thing and keep on going, and Fisher decided to stay for his good friend Tobiyashi and see how he's doing. And bam! We got the group together. So...
Easy as that.
Kobayashi, you are currently in a bucket.
Yeah, I heard I was in a bucket. You start hearing bubbling.
Yeah. But it just so happens that when you finally arrive in your room where you can... yes, Tobiyashi did his role. And good stuff happened.
Nukes. All of them nukes.
Well, maybe not all that well for Audience's religion, but...
Yeah, I did my role. Yeah, for the gem.
Look, Tobiyashi is very committed to the role.
Yeah. I was talking to Mega and Draken while I was at work. One for another reason, one for the other reason.
All right. So, fortunately, Tobiyashi, you don't spend the entire night bubbling in your pail. Remy puts you on the table in this, like, commune area in front of where your rooms are supposed to be.
Sorry, she's meowing at me.
Should we tell if Audience disciples made it?
Let's let it be a surprise.
I mean, disciples, yeah, I know. No, everybody made it.
We're gonna be mean to him. 50% chances.
Yeah, we'll see.
And fortunately, it's not a commune area. It's just a table in the middle of this room where you see all the doors where you go. And just as Remy puts the pail on the table and Fisher enters, has a brief moment of looking at this bubbling, oozing friend of his, who was actually inside of the world, Tobiyashi, you start moving again inside of that little pail. You start pulling yourself out, reshaping yourself. You are completely exhausted. And this is when I said that Tobiashi probably paid a price in all of this. For you, Todd, it's not that big of a price, but for Tobiashi, it is a huge price. Because when you come back and your shape starts to coalesce again and you see your friends, there is a brief moment of disorientation. Because from your angle, Tobiashi, it's been over a decade since you saw them.
Wow.
When you took Fisher's, the soul that Fisher was sending you, you had a good reflex to just send the first wave down because the second one nearly overwhelmed you. Something exploded in there, and there was such a swell of energy that you were nearly completely overwhelmed by this. But you barely managed to stay focused. And when you came back to consciousness, entire seasons had gone by.
Ugh.
Their settlement had started. You think after a little while, maybe a year and a half had passed. So, and you put a little distance between the two, so maybe a grand total of 2-3 years of additionally had passed. So maybe it's about 5 years. When you come back to consciousness, you realize that the settlements have been formed. They've already gone through a few winter, and this is when you realize that there's a little bit of energy floating around you. There's a residual charge from the wilderness the wilderness dust and the divine dust, and this is when you decide to create a soul. Not just life, but life that regenerates itself when it dies. Something similar to what you are, what Remy is, and what you think Fisher is. It took everything you had. You pulled in everything you could, mixing them, trying to make it live. You felt its heartbeat for a brief moment. Then when you stopped pouring energy inside, the heartbeat just stopped. You kept on adding energy. You were getting desperate. You started pushing in your own energy inside, desperately trying to make it live. You nearly exhausted everything you had just to make it breathe, give it life. It's not even physical life yet. It's just the soul itself. And just as you were about to give up because you were at the point of considering diminishing your own soul, its ability to live, you felt it. You felt the energy start living on its own, generating its own energy. You created life on a godly scale, not on a small scale. A soul, the first soul of an entirely new race. With what you could, you pushed it into the world.
Oh.
And you were so exhausted, you just started to drift off. And you have brief moment of consciousness, brief moment of memory, but you're not sure what happened. But when you come back, again, more time has passed. But this is when you realized everything there is under you. There is this new life that you poured in. There's everything you wanted to do, everything you wanted to tell those people. You wanted to take care of them also. And so you descended on the world and you started living among them as a disembodied entity. But you started talking to them and they perceived you in dreams. You felt the frustration of some gods giving dreams to people and completely missing the point. So you just kept on going, talk to more people. You came to your own people, tell them how they should be. What was your plan for them? You kept on doing this, and at first you didn't realize, but time was passing by. Every time you interacted with them, a little bit of time moved forward, and before you knew it, you started knowing the people down there. You started recognizing some people. This couple. You were there when that child was born. You saw this person when he was surprised in the forest hunting and he got shredded to pieces. You'd seen him grow up, live, have a life, and you were there helpless to see it die. You saw harsh season taking a few people. You had your moments of wondering why audience would give a world to those people where they spent 5 months in winter, another 5 months in spring and fall.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And only 2 months in summer. It took a while before you realized that that's the world that audience came from. That's where he is from in the world. That's where his childhood was, and that's probably why this is shaped like this. But why give so much pain and hardship to a people like this? But you also saw the counterpart of this. How much they enjoyed and celebrated life when the summer came. How much they respected the colors of spring and fall. Eventually you realized that you had to go back. You'd been speaking to them for years after years, helping them, telling them about how they need to be careful with religions. But also you saw the duality of the fact that you influenced people, and someone built a statue in your honor. You remember how frustrating it was by looking at them, remembering how you hated it when gods told you what to do, and you realized you've just spent years telling them what to do, how to think. All right, it was for the better, because you told them to think by themselves, but still, you told them what to do. And there's that race of yours who completely adopted your way of doing things, your way of thinking. There's a part of your soul that was literally used to build them, to create them. So they have elements of you, of how you think. They instinctively adopted a monk way of life. Their body is made out of cloth, like what you can create. All right, their shape is not exactly what you wanted. You admit that you had a bit of a lack of power at the end, and so they're a bit smaller in shape than you wanted, maybe a halfling size, and not as puppet-like
Detailed.
as you wanted. But the rest of the shape is there. They seem to be made of cloth. In fact, as you look at them, you realize they feel a bit like a miniature version of the exiled. Smaller in size and not as powerful, but with the same drive and the same idea of what all of this is. And then you came back. So when you come back, you have all of this, all of these people, their lives, every time they prayed to you for guidance, every one you saw being born, everyone you saw die of some reason. And then you see Fisher and Remy from your perspective, and you're slowly aware of this because of how everything comes back together. And you have all of this weird element of, I was inside of a gem for years while they were looking at me, and all of this happened in a few moments, but all of this is happening inside of a dream that is also only taking just a
Yeah.
few moments
Yeah.
in a world that evolves at normal space and time. You feel exhausted. You are literally barely conscious, but you can talk. It takes a moment for Fisher's name and Remy's name to come back, as if you were looking at old friends you hadn't seen in what feels like a lifetime for you. You have that moment of Fisher.
Yeah, I'll say that. I'm like, Fisher? Remy? Oh yeah, I have a huge beard.
Well, no, because you're.
Yeah, I'm in my body
Oh,
now,
yeah, no,
so
that's right. Your body is a ooze. It can reflect what
yeah.
happened. So
It's how I'm feeling.
when you take back your shape, Tobiyashi does have a few differences. He looks older. A bit of a beard. His hair is longer.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, Fisher, Remy? You guys, how long was I gone for? What year is it?
Slowly tilts head to the side.
Oh,
From inside of you, Fisher, you hear, oh, that's a hard question to answer.
I'm start blinking, looking around. I'm not I don't hear anybody talking to me in my head. You know how it is. Oh my God, why are you guys fighting? Okay, never mind. Wait, I'm still getting some voices, sorry.
It's like a ghost limb. It's ghost voices.
Yeah. Uh, it, it's exhausting having to hear so many people at the same time and not being able to do anything about it. I think I need a nap for like 100 years.
Fisher, I think you're muted.
We ain't got that kind of time.
Now you hear me
did it
crack my
work?
back. It just
No, we didn't hear a
what?
single thing you said.
Oh, did it work? What happened?
Oh, did you do it?
Yeah, I did it. I did a lot more. So
Oh yes, Tobiyashi, you
Made-
managed to put
figure out.
you managed to put everyone there, and
Mhm.
it took years to figure out what happened for you, Tobiyashi. But someone brought in some sort of dimensional storage, and it completely blew up. So the
Oh,
world got littered with the object that this person had hidden inside. So there was this whole quest
oh,
from your point of view where people started on this crusade to find all of the missing holy object because it was one of audience's follower that did this. So for them it
ah,
was this whole crusade of finding the holy object that helped them. But for you, Tobiyashi, there is this silver lining. All of your efforts, although audience's religion managed to take hold, it did not become a major religion in this world.
good. Um,
Yeah, especially
uh,
after you sent down your only son. They did have to
True.
crucify him, but
I mean,
ends justify the means.
yeah. Don't worry about it. I go, yeah. Remembering some. No, not that. No, yeah. So when I got in there, I was using all my strength to let the first people go through. Um, but I decided to split them up. But in the middle of me sending the first group, something exploded, and there was this whole treasure hunt crusade looking for it. I kept going in and out after that first part, and then came back. The second people came through, and then I had some time in there, so I basically became a god for a little bit. I made a race. I answered people. Sorry, I still have a massive headache. What are we doing now?
We're in the dream. Tomorrow we're gonna try and escape.
Oh,
Lost
that. Okay, yeah. Uh-huh. We gotta get back.
There's probably this element of
We
acknowledging
gotta,
that
we gotta
all
get
of
the
this started.
feather.
All of this started for you, Toby, actually, because you saved 100 people from the queen's villager, from the queen's subject, and created your world with it. So in
Mhm.
also there's this acknowledgement that all of this happened because she gave you the necessary resource. It's a mess of feeling that you're getting all at once.
Yeah. I'm like, I think I need a second. 1 minute. Yeah, what are we doing now, though? Can I sleep?
I mean, yeah, if you want. But I mean,
Wait, where's
you got
audience?
everybody. He's gonna go talk to the protector and the dragon.
Is Greg still here? Sorry, wrong. But everything's getting mixed up. You gotta.
He's Greg.
I was. So is this family that was looking over, watched him grow up, become an adult.
What? Does time move faster in there?
I
Told him to kill his
guess.
brother.
The person inside
I
can
think-
decide the speed at which the time move.
I kept going in and out. Every time I would help some people, years would pass. I'd come back.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I was in there for like maybe like 20 years. I could feel it in my bones. Oh, fuck, wait, I don't have bones.
Don't look a day over 20.
Just my beard. Thank you. Oh God. Oh, I need to cut that. That feels uncomfortable.
Pulls out a dagger.
Yeah.
Everything went good. They established towns, religions. I kind of guided them, and I kind of made, not, I wouldn't really call it it's more like a guidance of people. So I made a race in the image of my my master to show them the way when they're in need. Not to get like directly into it unless there's like super political things happening. It's very complicated, okay?
Uh-huh.
I was basically drained after I did all that first stuff. After that, I was just kind of going with the flow until I saw I had to come back.
I guess what? Oh, okay.
What?
Well, I figured. I thought you were just, place channeling them in there, and then that was it.
Well, some stuff happened, and I thought they needed some guidance. They were all new to a whole new place in the middle of nowhere. So I kind of set up where they were at, and then made sure that they were split in two different areas of where audience made, so that they would have a better chance. So like if one died, the other ones could like survive when they got there, just in case something crazy happened. Because I don't know what audience. You see the? Did he tell you about the seasons he put in there? I don't know
No,
what kind of
not
god would
really.
make a world like that.
Did he fuck it up a little bit?
There's 5 seasons. Wait, what is it? Five of
Wait,
each season, you said?
The winter lasts 5 months. Spring and
Oh yeah.
fall each last 2.5 months, and summer is barely longer than 2 months.
It's like a never-ending winter with a sprinkle of summer and
oh.
whatever the hell else is in there.
It's like living in North Canada.
So just the tundra. Okay. Yeah, I mean, from what I
You ever heard of a place called Colorado? No, sorry. I mean,
well, I mean, from where he grew up, that's basically what it was. So, I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense. Hmm.
Maybe Minor Illusions, the sun.
that helps a little. Wait, can you make it warm?
That's not how minor illusion works.
Oh,
Fuck.
Remy gives a big hug to Tobiashi, so he has the sun and it's warm.
Like, sorry, Raimi's not a level 14 illusionist.
No. I think I know how irritating it is now to take care of a whole world of people and have to listen to them not complain, but have needs, wants, desires. I watch so many people die.
Well, shit.
I couldn't do anything about it either. I was stuck there watching and just letting it happen. They'd pray to me, and I would just
Wait,
sit there.
what?
I couldn't do anything.
It's like I just watched it happen.
No, back.
I didn't have any power to do anything to help them.
Wait, then why were they praying to you?
Well, okay, so I guess they got it in their mind that whenever I was kind of like uh, a holy figure of some sort. I don't want to say God. I don't ever want to say that, but
Because you kept
Um,
appearing in their dream giving them advice.
I would like appear in people's dreams and they would see me and then they would they made a statue of me and they'd pray to me and I'm not happy about it, but
Mm-hmm.
what would you do in my situation?
I don't know. I feel like I mean, I guess
helped
were
them
you
a
like
lot.
stuck there?
Well, kind of, yeah. I was pretty much
Okay.
stuck until I was pulled back out.
Well, it's
Okay.
it's a bit weird. It's a bit weirder than this, even for you, Tobiashi. It's more of you kind of morally got stuck in there because you always
Yeah.
wanted to give more, always wanted to give help. You heard the prayers of this one, and you went there, and you realized that he doesn't even know what he wants. So you go back and so you should probably go, and then winter arrives. Ah, God damn it! So
Yes.
it's always that element of you could always have left whenever you wanted, but you felt
I
compelled
finally
to.
have to go back. Yeah.
It just this one last prayer, and then there's that race that knows that you're their creator.
Yeah. I did have to take care of my children. Sorry. Yeah, time went by really fast and they kept asking for help. And every time I was able to come back, but it was complicated in the way of they needed help. So I wanted to help them. And every time I would go to help someone else would need help. And then months would pass by and then I had to take care of my race in there because they needed help. Well, they knew that I created them, but nobody else did.
Sometimes they get persnickety, so I got one of my children eaten by a whale. Don't
yeah,
worry,
I
he's
sent
fine.
one in a yeah. There's
Yeah,
I had to-
wait. How did you did you with the souls of the people that we sent in there?
all of the people got in there. I didn't use any of their
Okay.
souls.
But then how did you?
So there was still some essence of the crystals you guys or the dust and crystals, the shards, you guys used to put everybody in there and to make the world. There was still some energy laying about, so I used that. I tried super hard. I was so close to losing it. I put all my energy into making it. I'd feel it come to life and then die again and then come to life. And I started pouring my energy into it. My key, I used almost all of my key. Um, and my silk, not all of it, but went into it. And I finally felt life coming through this soul. And I sent it down and I passed out for a couple years. And then when I woke up, I obviously had to check on them to see how they were doing and see how the people were doing to tell you guys how they were. And then one thing led to another. And God, I hope they're okay.
Last I heard, there was something about a holy crusade.
Yeah, something about something exploding. I heard things. I guess one of audience's uh religion people. What are they called again? Followers. Followers. Yeah, sorry, I was gonna give it a different name.
Religion people.
Cultist?
Yeah, one of those religion guys. Sorry, it's been some time. I haven't really like talked to someone like this in a while. Um,
Uh-huh.
it he got sent in with something of audiences, some item or something like that, like a storage. Wait, did audience send his storage in with them?
Oh, no. Someone tried to sneak in some kind of dimensional storage. Almost ruined the whole thing. Blew
Yeah, well, it
everything up.
exploded
It
in
was
there
a-
and fell all over everywhere.
Okay,
So
yeah.
that's what they were looking for.
Oh,
Um,
what was in it?
A whole plethora of objects to help everyday life, but also always to promote the dragons. Always something that had some sort of dragon in it to always remember people, to always make sure that people remember that, oh, you're being helped by this object is sponsored by the religion of the dragon. Something like this, always. And a few weapons, allowing them to arm themselves slowly. They made a holy crusade of it, of finding all of the wonderful object that audience has left behind for them.
as for audience's religion, I don't know too
Oh,
much
damn.
about it.
So, okay. That seems on par.
As for audience's religion, I didn't really care too much
You
about.
realize this is what you're a part of, Rami, right? You get how fucked it gets when he's not around.
Amy just lets out a big sigh.
Yeah, so Tobiyashi, to your dismay, audience is considered a bit of a saint in your world by his cult. You know, he's not a god. Everyone knows that there is a god above him, but since he's not a god and he's not a half god, he's sort of revered as some sort of saint for his religion. You know, a legend of all he did for you when you arrived.
Yeah. So he was, I guess, considered a saint for a lot of the people,
Oh, I guess he did
Saved
build the
them.
world.
kind of.
Wait, what did he
Well, they got a whole bunch of weapons and they got stuff
but
that was
he
inside
didn't
the storage.
do?
Well, some of his
Right, but-
members got in.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
So they praised the god that he worshipped, and they saw him as a saint. And I kind of couldn't do much about that, but I did all I could, and I helped who I could. I was really focused on the people, not what their religion was.
Well, it's
Um,
it's sort of a success for Utopia actually because he didn't become a major religion.
Yeah.
Without surprise, the major god of your world are still there. Augathor, who is literally viewed as the paragon of good and light. So, of course, that's not a problem because you know from your world he really is the god of good, of light, of empathy, of giving. There's the god of the druid, who is all there for nature, and they helped a lot, especially in the beginning. But in that world, instead of having four major god, they have four major god, and they already have a lesser god, audience's god, and you are considered a lesser god.
So yeah, I helped all I could. I tried to steer them away from that as much as I could. They didn't become a major religion in there, so it's okay. It's doing maybe a little bit better than our world's doing in real life. Speaking from experience. But I did all I could and helped everyone that I could, even though I couldn't help everybody. I thought I was going to be back in like years. I thought you guys were going to leave me. I was going to be stuck here.
Well, I mean, even if like you wouldn't have been stuck here because we'd have taken the gem back. So that was kind of the whole point. But
Oh yeah, huh?
But for you, Fisher and Remy and audience, all of everything he just said happened in a few minutes. 10 minutes at most.
time nights
Time nights. Oh God.
keeps happening, I guess.
I think I'm gonna go cry
Okay,
just for a little bit.
that seems like a warranted response.
I kind of hide my face as I walk away.
Good job. Yeah,
Yeah.
way to go.
Dude, just thumbs up behind me.
Yeah.
I'm mumbling. I'm just like, oh,
Here's the
Greg's
thing.
right.
You have the gem with you.
Samantha.
You can, while Tobiyashi is going to sleep, you can go in and take a peek. You don't have any energy. Tobiyashi had the advantage of having residual wilderness and dawn shard energy to create stuff, but you could probably go in, have a chat, have a look, see the world that was built. And just like Tobiyashi, when you enter, you have the ability to decide how much time has passed since Tobiyashi visited. When you're not in, the gem doesn't move forward in time. But when you're
Like a video
inside,
game.
you can decide how fast time has passed and how fast time will pass while you're
Oh
there.
damn.
We have a world Tamagotchi. I hope my kids are okay.
Gotta deal with it.
Yeah, so we could
Yeah,
just like go peek.
Yep.
I like Remy. You wanna go check it out?
I'm just sobbing in the corner.
I hope Clara's fine. She was so sweet.
My kids.
Just like looking over. Do you think he needs emotional support?
I think
He's fine.
he will need emotional support
You'll be back in half an hour.
after we give him a minute to kind
Process
of
everything.
process stuff, on his own.
I guess slowly looks over at the gem.
You saw the ritual, so you know that in real time for you here, the whole thing is going to take 1 hour. The meditation, going inside and coming out. But that's
Oh, Brady's done it once.
yeah. Well, Fisher hadn't done it, so so you know it's going to take 1 hour of your time for you. But now you have confirmation because of Tobiyashi. No matter what you do, it's going to cost 1 hour in this world. But you could be there for decades if you want.
Hyperbolic time chamber. Sorry. Go take a look at our creation, guys. We're all proud dads.
Well, Fisher,
I'm prouder than most.
you helped in all of this. You were part of those who...
Yeah, I want to go see what. Yeah, I'm going in.
Does that make Remy like the uncle or something?
Well, I'll let you decide what makes who what.
Okay.
Toby
Oh wait,
is
no.
the
That
father.
can't. Yeah.
The Raimi is the. I guess he would be the uncle. Fisher would have to be the godfather.
Interesting choice of word for the circumstance.
And audience is the stepdad, obviously.
I mean, if you really think about
The
it,
absent
what
stepdad.
role does the stepdad have than to pile a bunch of things in love onto the kids without any regard for how that might actually impact their future?
Yeah.
No, audience is more that person that mom cheated on and had a world with, I mean a kid with, and you all came and added to the
We all
family.
took care of it, yeah.
So, actually, what I'm hearing is that this is just a weird guy version of Mamma Mia.
Mhm. That's exactly what it is.
Well, you know. Oh, good lord. All right. So, Remy, do you want to join Fisher? You join hand in taking the gem and you go inside.
Fusion. Huh.
There they go.
Okay,
about the
enough of the
dance?
DBZ references.
Yeah. Sorry.
I guess Dragon Ball, since the time chamber was also in existence. Anyway,
Sam just said, I left to buy milk and never came back.
Perfect analogy.
yeah, in which case I guess Raimi will join hands with Fisher and help him meditate into the gem.
All right, you need to meditate. Well, we'll see how this goes.
Does he have to fall asleep? That's the real question.
Well, there's two of you doing this, so why not? I'll let you roll wisdom with advantage as a group roll.
Gee, I wonder which one of us.
Completely fucked it up.
You got this, Fisher.
I forget, was this
Man, put you
a.
down.
I have
Was
a
this a
plus
wisdom save or
0
wisdom check?
now.
No, it's meditation, so I believe it's wisdom roll.
It's wisdom.
Well, I asked if it was a check or a save.
Check.
Okay.
That'd be
That will be 18.
All right.
I'm not going to tell you what the other die was because the joke will be that it's Fisher's.
So there was this moment where Fisher started to open one eye. As it started, and you just saw Remy go, boom! Give him a whack on the head. Sorry.
Rebecca.
It takes a little bit more time than it should, but eventually the world fades around you and you find yourself in this disembodied state without life, and you see Audience's island under you. The world is made of ocean. There's the singular island in the entire world. At first it's disorienting. You have to use your willpower to move. So, Remy, you start moving, and you see Fisher just veering off and going to one side.
Has a rope to him.
But you manage to slowly go down. And as you're moving down, you sort of realize that, oh, okay, you're arriving in fall. Vibrant colors. All of the trees have this bright orange or nearly shimmering gold color everywhere. It's just even the brown feels like a vibrant rust color, like new rust. Impressive setting. Fisher, you've seen something a bit similar to this because you spent a little bit of time on the same island chain as audience. You actually didn't know, but the part of your life you spent 2 hours away from where he lived. So for you, it's definitely a little familiar. And slowly, as you go down, you realize that you see a little bit of smoke in the distance. And then behind you, you see another plume of smoke. You realize that you're landing right between the two villages. They're roughly a day apart from one another. So you have a choice. You know that the one near the ocean is the youngest village, and the one in the middle of the island, the oldest village. But there's also an entire island. Tobiashi just told you that there was an entire crusade, so there's bound to be other things elsewhere, and there's a mysterious race living somewhere that he created. But you're not sure.
Yeah, they're like gypsies, so you probably won't see them. Maybe.
I guess I'm gonna go to the first one.
Oh wait. Should I send that picture?
I think. Oh no, I think only audience got it.
I'll send it.
Okay.
All right. So I sent the picture. The one in the middle is the first one. The one on the outside is the second one.
So where do you want to go?
I'll go to the first one.
Okay. And what about you, Remy?
I think Raimi would be more interested in the more recent one, especially considering that would have been like the whoopsie daisy one.
So, as your mind starts to focus on these two regions, there is this weird feeling and distortion of the world around you, and suddenly you are thrusted toward your destination, as if something just pulled you. It's nearly teleportation fast. You just see everything just flash by, and each one of you is above the village that you decided to go to. So I want to know, because you got there at the same time, how much time do you want? Is there a quantity of time you wanted that passed since Tobiashi visited, or you just wanted to be there as soon as he left?
I think I would be there as soon as he left.
Okay, what about you, Remy? What did you think? Because in this place, in your current state, thought and intention matter. So,
Well, it might be a little bit silly, but I guess because of like how Raimi can sometimes view the passage of time I think he would have at least gone 7 years in the future.
All right. So it works a bit in an odd way because you have two wills fighting a bit for control in
It's just
this.
a roll.
But at the same time, it is possible to accommodate both of you. Remy, when you start moving, you start going to the other village. You go down, and suddenly you see time starts moving faster. You lose sight of Fisher for a brief moment, but Fisher, you also feel that distance between you and Remy, a distance of time, but also not distance. You realize that the world is moving around faster than it should, but not to the point of just flashing before your eyes. And then you realize what kind of powers you can have. Because although time has moved quickly, because you wanted to see where Tobiashi left things, you had that ability to just wedge yourself in this moment and inflate it. So that instead of moving in a single shot, you went slowly moving through it. So it's like moving time at time 2 speed. If you're watching a movie, you can still hear people talking, but they sort of all have this a little bit high pitched voice as everything is moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Huh.
So you arrive first because Remy wanted to see something else a bit further in time. You arrive first where you want to be, and you feel that dilation of time. You know, you can take advantage of this moment and see a bit of the everything that happens around you. You see the lives of people. It's an interesting community, the one you arrived in. You can definitely notice the different influences. You see dwarven and dragonborn influence in the way buildings are made. But you also see elements of the elven culture everywhere, just helping in. This sort of odd contrast in how things are made, where you definitely recognize the more robust architecture that a dragonborn and a dwarf would have. A lot of things are made of stone, very sturdy, very strong. And this odd contrast of very refined writings on some walls that emanate a little bit of energy. Apparently the elves managed to add in a level of magic to the world, to the point of, oh, it's not streetlights that you see, it's just a rune that was written on a small piece of spherical stone, and it starts glowing when the night arrives. You've never quite seen this level of interweaving into all of the different cultures in there, but they're all there. Humans obviously proliferated. You know that there were maybe it's just 5 times 8 40 humans in total were sent in there. Tobiashi told you that it was separated in 2 groups, so 20 in one city and 20 in another one. But when you look around, there's at least 100 humans around, walking about, doing their own things. So yeah, time went by, and of course, humans are one of the most prolific race of people, so they would multiply very fast.
Huh, so that's what sex looks like. Gross.
How do you make
Don't
a
even get
baby?
me started on how many people. No, I'm kidding.
How do you make a baby? Hold on, I'm going to see this. Oh, is that
Wow.
from Fisher's?
They all come out screaming?
And wet, and they can't even do anything for like 2 years.
Oh man, you know, and while they're conceiving it, all the oh come on, it's and then when it comes out, everyone's screaming. No wonder these people come out traumatized. When they are born, everyone is screaming everywhere. There's the mother that's screaming, the child is screaming, the doctor is screaming, the father is screaming.
And then you go watch an elven birth and everyone's quiet.
You just hear this. That it? Wow. It's a whole lot messier with humans. And you look at the birth of a dwarf. It is, yeah, that's sort of how I figured it would be. Sort of like watching a ball come out of something and it's... Baby!
Dwarves love each other really well. They both shave their beards, and then they tie it together into a little baby shape, and then they leave it on top of a rock, and then it turns into...
And of course, you look at the baby, and of course, they would start having beard at what is the
They
equivalent of
come out
5
with
years
a
old.
beard. No hair anywhere else.
They have a
They come out
six-pack.
with a beard.
Actually, like the baby does come out human and screaming, and the dwarf is really pissed.
Yeah.
And for some reason, you're surprised, and you're also not surprised. Instead of giving them milk, they give the child a pint. Oh, that
Your
makes
abs are too
sense.
shredded. Start getting a beer belly.
For legal purposes, don't give a pint to a newborn child. Only dwarves are allowed to do this. Real dwarves, not what we call dwarves. Real dwarves.
You have plenty of time to set your children on the path toward alcoholism.
Yeah. Don't do it too soon.
So you see this thriving community of people that are doing all they can as best they can. You've never quite seen it this intricately woven together and this unified, but you also have the context of when they arrived, there were 50 of them, and they had to figure out how to survive in a new world. So of course this would create bonds. Of course it would create gratitude toward those who help more. And looking at everything around you, you realize, okay, so they're bound to have a lot of gratitude toward dragonborns and dwarves, who obviously are the base influence for houses and the way that the streets are made. Elves brought in magic. Gnomes brought in premature death. I mean, invention that helps. Halflings brought in agriculture as not a necessity, but as something fun to do. You look at them and you've never taken the time to look at them. They like doing this. It's sort of weird because you heard people say it's like watching grass grow as a bad thing, but you look at them and they don't like watching grass grow, but they look at carrots grow. And that one they enjoy. Okay.
It must be something about that pipe they keep smoking on that makes them.
Oh, that's an interesting one. They wouldn't have... audience did not make this kind of plant in there. Huh, poor them.
Oh, that's what I forgot to do. I was gonna put the Well, like the thing I said about my monastery pin, I was gonna put the freaking plant that was the pin, the tree. I forgot what it was called. I drank it one time, like at the beginning of the campaign.
So yeah, you see them moving forward and doing as best they can to live and survive, and you see festivals, and you see they seem to have adopted very elements very similar to your world. At least two, at least four festivals, one on each of the pinnacle of seasons. So one for winter, for spring, fall, summer. But honestly, Remy wanted 7 years in the future, so you kind of start understanding what Tobiashi was talking about. Because you see those 7 years moving faster than they should. You see a couple finding love. You see them doing things that you did not want to see. And then you see them having a child. You've never known someone for 7 years, but now you know these people for 7 years. These are the closest friends you've ever had. But you never talked to them.
I've been alive, aware for 4 years.
These are the oldest friends
This is
you've
the
ever
longest
had.
stretch of time I've ever witnessed.
Just like Tobiashi. If you want, you can try to whisper in their ears. It's going to come out as a dream for them. But you could make yourself known
Buy stocks in Google.
if you wanted to.
No, I'm not going to do that.
So you are a silent watcher
Yeah.
for 7 years. Although for you it doesn't feel like 7 years because everything's moving forward. You feel that tether with Remy pulling you toward the point where his experience becomes the moment. So you don't feel it as 7 years. But also you do. Which is a bit confusing on its own. It's like a dream. You know, you can live 2 weeks inside of a dream, but when you wake up, you sort of realize that this happened in what you think is a night. It's a feeling very similar to that. Having memories for 7 years, but not feel like it's been 7 years. Is there anything in those 7 years that you'd like to see specifically before I jump to Remy?
I want to check out these new beings that Toby
They just have a tracker on them. They
made
just you could
somehow.
you could feel me to the west.
All right, you start trying to feel Tobiashi. So, after
Oh, please,
a
I'm
while,
vulnerable right now. There you go.
after a while, you start wondering about Tobiashi's race. You want to know where would they be? And because your mind starts focusing on them, you see something one day that you did not expect to see. Judging from what happened before, where you felt pulled toward a point, you thought you would be pulled toward that point, but instead, you notice this little being that no one seems to really look at, just walking down the street, looking at people, sort of having this moment of, oh, okay. Moving so discreetly. You recognize a bit the demeanor that Remy and Tobiashi have when they are trying to be stealthy. And you have this moment of, oh wow, is that what happens when Remy just disappears? But now I'm sort of kind of a god, so I can see it That's good. He's not making any sounds. And he's just staring at people and no one real. Does Remy stare at me like this? He's just there and he's just looking around. Not interfering, not doing anything. Well, except at this moment where you see him just look at one person and you see him taking a coin inside of a purse he has, and he puts the coin on the ground just a little bit further away. And you see that person just looking around, and he's about to turn into an alley, and then his attention notices the coin and he starts going toward that coin. When he picks up the coin, you hear something fall in the alley. You see the guy just moving forward, just wanting to know what happened, and he looks around and he sees this, you'd call it some sort of wild cat, running away scared because he tripped on something and a box fell. And you hear the guy just go with a high-pitched voice, because time is moving faster, just going, "Oh man, I was about to go into that alley and that thing could have really hurt me." You just see the guy just going, and then starts moving away. They look a bit what you would expect an exiled would look, but much smaller, halfling size, a bit thinner in shape. Cloth is a bit billowing around them. Toby actually wanted it to be skin tight, but he lacked a bit of energy, so they're a bit flabby.
Wait, so you said people weren't like taking notice of it.
Nope.
Does it seem like people can't see it, or it's normal?
The way that it feels looking at this situation, it feels like they're naturally stealthy. As if their passive stealth was what Remy's active stealth is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that they can't notice them, is that they're just always in the shadows. As if someone can't notice them unless they want to notice them. But you've only seen one, so there's not a lot of them. So even if they want to see them, well, it's not there. But I guess you might call it, in arcane language, some sort of perception filter. If they don't know they're there, they can't want to see them. So they don't.
Wild. I think Fisher's gonna try and leave. I think he's just getting spooked. It's like, this is... I need to get out of here.
Like, I think they could see into my soul.
Yeah.
They're just looking right at you.
You see this guy wearing a mask. They're like, "Are you my mummy?"
No.
Doctor Who reference.
So it gave me nightmares as a kid.
All right.
I posted my inspo, guys. There's all my inspiration for these little dudes.
Like I said, he was lacking a bit of energy, so it's not exactly like that.
Yeah, it's a little bit less, but that's what I'm saying. It's character inspiration.
So as you want to leave, you suddenly start feeling the time pulling you toward Remy stronger and faster, and you just see everything moving forward. And then suddenly you stop moving in time. 7 years has passed. That child that was born 6 years ago, well, it's 6 years old. It's a 6-year-old human. How wild is that? She's a spitfire, this little girl. Wow! She's picking fight with Dragonborns. Of course, they're always gentle with her because Dragonborn, they can probably unscrew her head if they want. But she's not scared of picking fights with them.
So where'd she get a gun?
Well,
Sorry,
that's
I brought
where
that
you
in.
go look at the gnomes. So time stops moving forward for you, Fisher, and you stop feeling the pull, and you sort of have this intuition knowledge that you've just been in sync. You've just been replaced in sync with Remy, who you don't see around right now. But Remy, you see everything around you. Interesting. It's a village by a river near the ocean. The ocean, you just have to look outward and you see the ocean over there. It's probably something like a mile away. The shore is there. They didn't want to put their village too close to the shore because, sea monsters, and they remember from their world. So, don't know what's going to come out of there. But there was a river very nearby, so they put their village close to the river, maybe a mile off the shore. Slightly different in shape, mostly because in this one there are not a lot of dragonborns. Tieflings are more present in this one. In the second group, the tieflings were, so you have confirmation that this is the second village. This one is a bit more organized. You recognize the ability of the tiefling in the way that their society is made. This village is made to create a community and try to govern it. Of course, in your world, you're more used to them turning this into a mafia of some sort or a mob of some sort. But in this world, they were more easily able to balance this desire they have, this thirst they have for different things. And instead of becoming mostly associated with criminal elements of society, they became their better version. And so you see a very orderly society. They're a good manager. So a little bit more clean, more refined, impeccable bookkeeping. Fortunately, for the good, so very precise business. You occasionally see someone trying to steal something, but it's mostly under wrap, because some qualities are harder to maintain balance, and tieflings have many of those. This is why they usually end up more toward the side of criminals, because ambition is probably the easiest of quality to corrupt. But they mostly manage to keep this balanced. And so you get to see mostly the better version of tieflings. Tieflings that aren't hated. You even see someone trying to make a case with a tiefling, trying to tell them that they just sold their fish for this amount, but there was only this amount when they received it. It's important to... And they aren't trying to take a percentage of this? Interesting. So definitely a more mercantile type of society there. The village has grown. Well, just like Fisher, you know that there were 50 of them when they arrived, and you look around and there's probably somewhere like 100 people living in this village, maybe 150 people. They did well. Just like Fisher, you recognize that initially dwarves and dragonborn probably had a more dominant role in creating society because everything is sturdy, is blocky a bit in its shape, but yeah, with the elegance of the elves. Humans are very prolific. Tieflings are supposed to be dominant as a genome. You never see a half tiefling. You only see pure-blooded tieflings. So if a tiefling marries a human, there's 50% chance of having a human and 50% chance of having a tiefling, and you don't see half tieflings. But you would expect that there would be more tieflings around. Something must have...
That's because they all became halflings.
Something happened at one point. You're not sure why. But their population drastically suffered. There should be more of them. They can proliferate just as quickly as humans. So they should have a very good place in this society, but not. Their number more looks like those of Dragonborn, which are absent mostly in the village where you are. You see a few ones. You get the impression that, oh, Fisher probably got the village where they are. Okay. So but this is mainly the difference. Of course, most of their economy is around fishing, so a lot of product of the sea. While Fisher, you notice that there was a lot of product of everything else. Nature, forest very close by, a bit of a river, but large fields, so there were different produce. And of course, Remy being closer to the merchant elements of society, you can easily notice that there's probably a fair amount of trading between the two villages, because you notice things which shouldn't be here because you don't see any fields that could grow this. So you have indirect confirmation that both village interact with each other and have healthy, at least business relationships. So beyond this, is there something that you're curious to see?
It's is there any element in this part, like basically, has poverty set into this place yet?
I would never let that. No, I'm kidding. I had no control over that.
Well, as a monk, you probably preached minimalism.
Bro.
So, no, not poverty. You do see that there is a difference in status of different people, but it doesn't take long to realize that it is a skill-based status and not a nobility-based status. It's not a hierarchy based simply on blood or things like this. People that have greater skills end up richer than those who have less. But even so, the difference is not overwhelming. You don't see squalor anywhere. You don't see people sleeping in the street. You just notice that, oh, people with greater skill tend to be dressed prettier. And, oh, that's an interesting dish. funny. Only people that dress well eat it. Okay.
Trying to think if there's anything else in particular you'd want to see.
Well, you know, if you want to see how a dwarf reproduce, you just have to move from here to here.
I feel like Gravy would not like to see most reproductive cycles.
I don't want to be stuck with that for the rest of my life in my mind.
Although I guess it's a fun thing. It's like, does Gravy feel like any degree of influence that he can make?
Well, judging on what Tobiyashi said, you can always try and interact with people and without using greater energy. It's only going to appear as a dream. Now, you are a spellcaster. You do have energy on you, but you can't replenish it so long as you don't leave the gem. So you might be able to push in a little bit of energy and give someone more than just a dream. You might even give them a vision, or if
Wet
you
dream.
manage to push everything you have, you might even be able to channel a message through someone. But that would be hard. Everything would be a roll.
Because Gravy would at least have the idea of seeing if he could convince the townsfolk to, as sort of like a symbol of protection for their goods, putting a three-legged raven on there.
Okay. You find someone that has a good amount of ware. He seems to be preparing them for probably commerce with the other village. And you push forward with your thoughts and intention that the three-legged raven is a sign of good fortune when doing business. It's a good omen that you're going to get there where you want to go and have a good business. You stare at that person for an entire day trying to push this idea in his mind.
Luckily, Raimi is very good at staring at people for long periods of time.
You just watch him going through his business.
Yeah.
You see him
go to
eating and you
work.
go like this. But you keep staring at the guy. When morning comes, you sort of had that moment of expectation of, did something happen? I'm gonna go with make a charisma roll.
This back's easier to read. That is 16.
16. Okay. Okay. You watch him for a while, and he's about to prepare to go. you're probably somewhere at the beginning of fall when there are still green leaves around, but some of the of leaves are starting to fall. And you just watch him, and he's preparing. Eventually, you just look at him. He's going like this, looking at the sky. And you hear his wife, and honey, what are you doing? You need to go. You're gonna be late. It's most of a day to only get. He says, yeah, honey. I don't know why. I just feel like. I feel like if I can see a raven before I leave, it's gonna be good luck. You hear the wife go, honey, a raven. It's not the right season. I know, but it's just a feeling. I'm not sure why. You see the wife go, come on, honey, go. If you want to get back, because I know you're going to stay there for at least a day. If you want to get back before the end of the week, you got to go now. And don't stop at the little pond again, please. You see the man just go, all right. Just as he's about to leave, you hear this. See, I knew it's gonna go well. There's something odd about this. I don't know why. It feels like it should be a raven and a half. Oh, anyway. You pushed something, and it was a dream. You're not sure if it's because you didn't push the right thing, or maybe he just slightly misinterpreted your dream. You do remember Tobiyashi saying how frustrating it was to blow dreams inside of some people's mind and completely missing the point.
I understand it now.
I mean, didn't need to be exact. Got roughly the idea across.
Yeah, you got a person now that thinks that seeing a raven before leaving for a business trip is good luck. Who knows? Maybe it's going to catch on.
Now you have to follow him to where he's going and help him out with. Sorry.
Well, there's probably.
That's what's like. Just watch a year from now, like all businessmen on the sea are going to be pirates with little ravens instead of parrots on their shoulders.
So yeah, your thoughts and intention were able to slightly influence someone. And now you understand what Tobiyashi meant by all he did. Because you'd need to push yourself forward in a few years to see if this catches on. And now you understand the temptation that Tobiyashi felt with every change, every dream, every decision he made. Will it turn out well? It's so easy. You just have to think about knowing it, and you're going to be pushed forward in time. It's so easy. But you know.
And then maybe Fisher at this point taps Remy on the shoulder.
You feel Fisher's presence behind you just going, no, don't.
Ow!
Dude, let's get out of here. This place is weird. Tripping me out.
Remy tilts his head.
I mean, not like what? Why you want to try and be a god?
Well, you could make yourself known. No, a raven god.
Raimi suddenly being filled with so much power of potential.
What's that look? Hey, no. No, it's time to go. All we were supposed to do is save these people, not rule over them as pretend gods.
You hear a child, like a childlike, higher pitched voice. Fine.
Fisher from.
And I guess
Yeah, go ahead.
Raimi just grabs Fisher's hand and thinks about the outside world.
Okay.
Clicks the seals together 3 times.
Rub your energy balls together 3 times. Yes, I did pick my words.
Hey, there's no place like home, and then
Yeah. No, you have to say the oath of the Time Knights, guys. What are you doing? It's obviously how you get home.
Actually, in this case, I feel it'd be more appropriate for the both of them to rub their nuts together. But
What?
So, Fisher, as you're leaving, you hear Terranad go, huh. I guess Tobiashi's not that bad of a person. He was tempted with the idea of God, but he didn't just play with them. He actually cared for them.
yeah, I was suspected. He was a decent person. Just bumbles around a bit to get there.
I like leaving this moment there where it is.
You guys are beaming back.
It's a beautiful moment. I'm not gonna add anything to it. So slowly, your consciousness moves away. You see the island growing smaller and smaller. You can't help but to think about the people you saw, especially you, Fisher. You literally saw a couple meeting one another, falling in love, having a child. You saw that child. You can't help but wonder what that child's gonna become. But time to go back to reality. Time for this dream to end. Then you move forward, and slowly you come out, not as exhausted as Tobiashi, but still you have this moment of, oh, wow, that's a weird experience.
Standing over your body with an. What did you guys do?
Is Tobiashi
This world
still
is
crying in
mine.
the corner?
So
Well, turn the golem.
would Tobiashi have come out of his existential dread after an hour?
An hour? Probably. I'm probably asleep by now, but I probably took a little nap. If you guys want to wake me up, you can. But
When you come out, you realize that Tobiashi fell asleep. Aw, Remy, you probably fell asleep crying. You think to yourself.
yeah, I'm just wrapped up in a cocoon now.
Of his own silk. You sort of feel that level of, oh, it was slightly taxing. But not as much as Tobiashi was floored with exhaustion. Just wasn't as much as him. And also, you have that idea of You were able to see all of this. Remy, you were able to do all of this, and you had nothing to contribute. Tobiyashi was able to create a race with just bits, with just half a pinch of shard dust. You have enough to create a continent inside of your backpack. You have
true.
that gem, but you look at all the dust you have. That is a lot of power for this little gem that you have in your backpack. You could change their world simply with a thought. But also, and probably more you, Fisher, because of Terranat a little bit, of the danger behind this. Anything you do will influence them. Anything you add can create chaos, disorder. And now you know what it is to be a god.
Yeah, Fisher's very much trying to be the creation god that leaves it alone after he's made. It's like, it was my job to get him in there. Everything else is up to them. And I'm not gonna mess with it anymore.
So you're the one who's actually the dad who left the cigarette.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that's the other dad. Gosh.
Well, it's a world with 4 dads. Well, Remy might be more a stepdad. He only had a small influence on one person's mind. But everyone else created something complex.
It's fine. He could visit.
He earned visiting privilege. Will take no damage. All damage will be encounter. The moment I take the ring off, all the damage they absorb times 5 in the area. I'm not sure what this person means, but hello, it's the first time you write something in the chat.
Oh. Huh. I have no idea.
Yeah, I know. Neither do I.
Colorful name though.
I think I have an idea what they're trying to say.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think I do.
I mean that sounds like an item that will immediately get whoever wears that ring killed. But you do you, boo.
That it killed half of your party? Yeah, I've had people like this.
Saying that taking only 5 damage suddenly turns into 25 damage in an area of effect that summarily kills a level 2, level 3 party at least.
I don't know why. I feel like throwing a fireball.
28 average damage, 28 times 5 is 140. 140 is enough to kill.
Oh, it's an item that killed half my party.
I understand why. All right. So, all of that is moving around in your mind right now. You realize an hour has passed because you think you hear audience arriving in the corridor. You have that moment of, oh man, should we let him touch the gem? Do you want him to
Oh.
feel that power?
It didn't work, guys. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, bummer. Sorry.
Gosh.
It's a good. It's a good litmus test.
Maybe just opens up
It is
his.
also his. So
It's his, yeah.
Maybe opens up his gem pouch. Eh? Eh?
I'm cocooned.
So it's only Fisher. I don't think Fisher understands you.
yeah, no, I'm confused.
The Raimi uses Mage Hand to slowly lift the gem up and then kind of like hovers it over his gem back. It's like, eh? Eh?
Terranad says, "Oh, I think he wants to know if he hides it."
Oh. Well, I very much appreciate you being with us on this, even with when it's with regards to audience. Uh, I don't know, I feel like we can trust him with it, and if we can't, that's will be good to know.
Although, actually, just as a funny thing,
Yeah.
uh, uh, would you look inside the bag when Raimi opens it?
Probably not. I mean, like, I guess, like, how are you, like, opening it in a way where it would be, like, easy to look inside the bag?
I mean, he's
Or-
shorter than you.
No, that. Yeah.
By a good
Yeah, I
2
guess
feet.
it would just, yeah, probably. I mean, I'd, yeah, glance at the top.
There's actually a lot of diamonds in there.
It's just real sparkly. I think Fisher does a quick double take. Like, what? What? Have you? Where did you?
Like, you might even guess there are 28 diamonds in there.
How? When did? Raimi, what?
When? Yeah, never mind.
That audience was supposed to be the one hoarding stuff. When did you find all that?
You hear Terranad say, "I don't think he wants to tell."
I mean, yeah, I guess so.
Didn't we kill a whole bunch of priests recently? For us, I mean.
Is that? Yes, we did. Huh. Oh well. Today's been wild. I'm gonna go.
Maybe, like, holds up a talon, reaches back into his bag real quick, and pulls out a scroll case.
For
And then hands it to Fisher.
thank you. Is it epi?
Is it the
I'm
slightly
assuming
damaged?
it's not.
Is it the slightly damaged scroll case?
It is the slightly damaged scroll case.
It looks like a scroll case. Sort of had the same type of writing as you saw all day in the laboratory of the wizard.
Oh.
Ah. Nice. I was gonna do that, but audience got me sidetracked. Way to go. I'll look around, make sure we're alone.
Well, audience is arriving, so you have a few minutes of relative lonely time.
And then I'm gonna try and figure out. I guess have you had time to figure out what it is yet, or
Raimi shakes his head.
all right? Let's take a look. See.
So, take the scroll case, slowly open it, and then your hands get blown off.
It explode. You get sucked into this one. No, sorry.
Oh, damn, I should have said that. No, you get the feeling that the magic protecting that scroll case was slightly screwed up because when you
Obliterated.
yeah, well, when you try to open it, you sort of have that moment of ah shit. Huh? You recognize the onset of a magical effect, but instead of something happening, it just sparks. It's like looking at a color spray that doesn't do damage or influence your mind or anything. It's just the color elements of the color spray. Okay. Slightly anticlimactic. You look inside carefully. Sort of like you know you have a live bomb in your hand that didn't blow up. And you have this moment of, okay, let's be very careful not to do something too quickly, too rash. You pull the scrolls out. Sort of have confirmation that, okay, there's more than one scroll in here. You look at the scroll, gently put the scroll case on the floor. You know, you're not sure if it could still blow up. You have confirmation that it's a 2 level 1 spell and 1 level 2 spell. Actually, probably a good idea if I open my notes. Where did I put this?
Oh man, I can't believe we found the level 9 wish spell scroll.
In the past.
Oh my gosh, we could save everyone now.
Yeah. Oh, you mean we did all of this for nothing?
Damn.
Hold on.
Man, that was a fun adventure. I wish we could do it all over again.
Oh,
I'm glad. I'm glad all of our adventures end so great.
All right. Well, I don't see them. But silver lining, I think it's time to end the stream because I think you got to work tomorrow.
You know what? This is just like the end of Kingdom Hearts 2.
yeah.
It's like like a like a message in a bottle. It's from King Mickey. Du, 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 du.
That's horrible. Yeah.
It'll give me time to find my notes on that again.
And have audience walk in.
Does it? So is it Does it look like spells that we don't know?
You think so?
Okay.
That's really all I remember for sure. I don't.
Uh-huh.
I
I
don't
think
want to
so.
say it's the spell and then look at my notes. And, oh, sorry, mistake. It was that spell, and it's too late. You already did. So
I
You
guess,
see, there
I
are
guess what I
older
was reading
versions.
is
They're actually
it-
older, better versions of spells that got like filtered out over time.
yeah, what I was
Like,
gonna say is what I meant by that is, does it seem like spells that we aren't, not that we don't like literally have in our, or know as our spells known, but spells that we've heard of? Or are these like, what the fuck is that?
like it's actually chromatic bomb.
Yeah.
Before it got refined into chromatic orb, it's just like, just like, what if it just exploded?
Yeah.
yeah, you know, I don't know why. For some reason it got nerfed in the next 1,500 years. So you know.
Well, see, the thing is, the same thing they had to do to change it so they could, the it not blowing up anymore is a kind of side effect of them being able to shoot it away from them.
Oh, that's
Or it
what you
just
gotta do.
explode in your hand.
Hey, I got a scroll of fireball. It's weird. The fireball doesn't move. It just blows up as soon as you cast it.
I think I'm just a
The
bad
broken
wizard.
fireball one from Baldur's Gate. It can cast fireball, but only 10 feet away from you.
It's like the belt. What was it? The belt of fire immunity that we had in one of my very first campaign.
Fire immunity.
Yeah. It was actually a cursed object. Only the belt was
Oh.
immune to fire.
Classic. Yes.
The player learned it when he tried to swim into lava.
That's great.
You know, I wouldn't have, maybe just side note,
I wasn't
maybe
the dungeon
the
master.
first test of the belt should not have been
In lava.
on lava.
Right?
Well, you know,
That's like testing a parachute by jumping.
it was a lava
Lava
pool.
fight.
They needed to get across it. He thought that he had everything he needed.
You just dive right into it. Wait, it's like liquid water. Wait, how did he even dive into it?
Well, he probably didn't. What happened is that first he crashed into it, and then his entire body was set aflame.
Yeah.
You just hear him screaming, and the belt is like floating on the top.
Yeah, well, almost, yeah. They all realized that the object was cursed because after a few moments, the only thing left of that was the belt floating on top of the lava.
That's great.
And you know, that's not even considering that even before he probably would have originally started setting on fire before he arrived at the lava, and then proceeded to break a lot of bones since he jumped right in.
He jumped in there.
Well, we learned that day that half elves are flammable. I think it was a half.
I feel like we already knew that.
Hey guys, did you know that rope burns?
So it's good to chat. Oh, rope does burn, guys. It's crazy.
Why?
All right.
Also, wood burns.
I don't believe you. I'm gonna have to do some.
I'm gonna have to leave. I got it. It's heresy.
Well, if you absolutely need to know, there is a cheese that also burns. It's called black burns. I actually served it in a food sampling. Every time I served it, and if someone asked what kind of cheese is it, I just wanted to say it's Blackburn. I didn't. All right. So with this, Fisher opening the scroll that didn't explode because it was damaged. Remy knew it was damaged. didn't test it first. It could have really blown up. But
Here you go.
he knew it
Take
was
this for me.
damaged.
I was even the hilarious part is I was thinking of interrupting you and being like, I'm gonna check it, and then I was like, nah.
Good.
Well, for future reference, if I ever say something that makes you do something that you don't want to do, don't be scared to say, no, I don't want to do this. Don't be scared. Never be scared.
Although there is a bit of Looney Tunes-ishness about this, like, oh, Raimi's not going to open it. Well, Tobayashi's asleep.
An audience is entering the room. He gave it to me before he entered the room. All right. So, with this, I think we can end tonight's session. A weird session, I know. It'll be a small one for the rebroadcast, but we had a session that nearly did not happen. Hold on, where's the music? Here it is. Campfire. All right. So, with this, I hope you had a pleasant evening. Thank you for stopping by. Backshots Only. Interesting name. Must be difficult having a lot of friends.
Definitely.
Hey, Backshot, are you gonna shoot me again in the back? Awkward conversations. But interesting ones.
What's their name?
That's literally their name. Backshots Only. Yes, I chose the more suitable for a large audience version of it. Of the possibility.
Yeah, let's assume that one.
Yeah.
I would like to see a few shots on audience's back. But...
Thank you as always, Zach. What would we do without you?
Have better nights.
I mean, I'm not sure what the stream would have looked like with just a Tobayashi and Fisher episode, but I guess it would have been funny to see.
Well,
Yeah.
if it had only been a Tobayashi episode, I would have focused entirely on everything he did inside of the dream, inside of the gem. You would actually have had the entire story of what happened. The moment that Fisher arrived, if it was only going to be him, I simply would have said something like, Remy, you heard audience arriving in the hallway, and you decided to go out, and then because Fisher felt such a kinship toward Tobayashi because he was inside, decided to go in. Yeah, I would have thought of something.
Oh no, it's just funny. It makes you think all the way back to like the Raimi and Fisher show for have a stream and just awkwardly trying to have a conversation.
The real time hour and a half trip back to town in the wagon conversation.
Well, at least...
Which was really more of a one-sided conversation because...
Yeah.
Well, at least this time it actually was relevant because I think this is the first Tobayashi's character growth, backstory, development that we've had. Tobayashi grew up inside.
I'm older on the inside now, guys. Don't worry about it.
Just on the inside.
Just on the inside.
All right, so finish the stream because some of us gotta go to sleep.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. If you stayed long enough to see that we would actually have a stream, thank you so much for your patience. If you came back because you got the warning, hey, you're live, but what? He said, thank you for making the detour and still coming. And if you didn't watch, well, I'd like to hate you, but also I understand, and I don't have enough followers to hate half of you, so everything is forgiven. Um, and remember, if you enjoyed the show, it's always a pleasure if you support us in some way. At least very much appreciated by me, because I'd like to do more about this. Who knows, maybe in 10 years I will actually be a good content creator and have people following me. Just like living in a gem, having all of those followers. I mean,
I was just streaming the whole time I was there, guys. That was everything.
Alright, so, like I said, thank you for watching, thank you for being here, thank you for sharing, participating, giving us interesting idea of someone using two rings to nuke a village. That's for the chat. And remember, if you want to support us, you can always follow us, leave a like, leave a comment on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. You can do more if you want and become make a donation, become a Patreon, subscribe on Twitch. But if you can't do any of those, there's a very free thing and mostly effortless thing that you can do that also helps, and that's spreading the word of this channel. So with this, thank you for being here. See you next week. Wednesday or Friday. Wednesday for the live broadcast, Friday for written broadcast, or Thursday for the map making stream. But see you next week, and as always, stay safe and stay healthy. Good night.
Kenny.